What is up, everyone? Hey, welcome back. Thanks for stopping by. So today's the day we got all the installs done on the Trapper, and my God, does it shoot so nice right now. So I just wanted to start just kind of running down the list of everything that I did, and then what I plan to do is do another video of the actual installs. There's a couple good people out there that have amazing install videos. I really like, I believe the channel is Wolf Prairie Outdoors. I mean, big lever action guy, does a bunch of good videos, has great installs. So you can always check him out for how to do it if you just want that right now. Mine will be coming up later. It's going to take me some time because I got big trips coming up that I got to get the truck ready for and everything. So I wanted to get this done before the trip. So just starting kind of at the back, coming this way, this stock is a Chisel machining stock. I definitely like it. It is heavy, it's beefy. The pad back here is pretty soft. Let me get this up here. So something to consider with this stock that I thought was pretty interesting. I'm gonna flip it over this way so you can see this right here. This is your cheek weld. It has the ability to move up and down. So you can kind of fine tune it for yourself, which is also important because if you're gonna run any type of an optic, this mount, the ScalrWorks mount, has the ability for you to look at the iron sight. So let's say this goes, something happens, it gets shot off for whatever reason, or it just stops working on you. You can still, pick up targets with your XSsights and kind of looking through here. So this will give you the ability to move it up and down to fine tune for your cheek weld. So I like that. And it functions on both of those, right? So you can always set it up to work off both of your sights. Something else that's interesting here, if you look at the screws, these screw holes are oblong on it. So you can, mine's kind of flat right now, but you can kind of twist it and get it exactly how you want, which I think is pretty cool. Some other ones, it'll just be like kind of straight. This allows the movement here. So sometimes, I haven't seen anybody really mention this too much with the chisel machining stock. This pad right here, if you unscrew it, it gives you the ability to kind of move the pad up and down so you can get a really good hold on your shoulder, depending on where you are, right? Now, something to consider with that, it'll look kind of funky if it's too low or too high because you got some coming off, but if it works for you, it works for you. And I definitely like that the pad is pretty soft. Like, it's just soft enough and just hard enough to feel really good. Something else you should consider about the Chisel machining stock is they have a little softy pad here, like a sticker that you can put on the cheek weld, which is nice. And they have extras. You tear this one up, you can just replace it with another one. All right, so sliding right into here, this right here is a Optic quiver. These are pretty interesting. Along the back, they have a tiny little set screw, so you can kind of fine tune how loose and how tight you want the rounds to be. When I did this, I kind of set the rounds in it, put them down so that the firing pin is kind of down on the table, and kind of set it that way, and that way they'll all be kind of even and level when you put them through. And just know you will be fine tuning this when you get out to the range. They're going to get hit, they're going to move, you're going to go through heat and cold. So just know that's going to happen. They look really good. They work well. They're easy to grab depending on how tight you put them. I have mine in pretty tight just in case for all of the movements I'm doing. I like them pretty tight, but so far has worked well. Sliding forward, this is also a Optic mount. Same concept here. You're able to fine tune the rounds. I'm gonna go into sitting it here when we get up towards the front. For now, just note both of these are Optics. You can fine tune them both. Dude, it is so hot in here. It's like a sweat box in here. Yeah, bro. Yeah. It's so hot in here. All right, so sliding forward from the stock, let's just go right into, we'll jump into the internals. So I did replace the trigger with a Ranger Point trigger. I think it's one of the best upgrades that you could do. Pretty much takes the trigger from about high 5, low 6 pounds to somewhere in the high 3s to mid 3s. So it feels real soft. It's real smooth. I do believe it's better than the stock trigger. Also, what you'll notice in comparison to the stock trigger is that it's a little fatter. I like that. And it's also a little flatter. Some people have a thing with flat triggers. I don't mind them at all. I kind of like them a little bit. You have to kind of get used to it because it's like a leverage game. The lower you go on the flat trigger, the kind of easier it is to shoot. So you do have to be careful with where you're putting your finger and where you're at, because you might not be ready. If you got your finger a little low, it'll just shoot. So just kind of pay attention for that. Like it. Actually, I love it. It is wider and it's got like some small ridges, but most importantly, what I like about it is that it doesn't wiggle around when you're kind of walking around. The stock trigger, you can kind of hear it, it'll wiggle. This one, if you push it and let it go, see how it's got a spring going back, the stock one will just kind of stay and move around. So I like this. For internal wise, the load gate, I mean, I went with their gold and the trigger in gold just because I thought it would look kind of interesting. Not something people do. I like the contrast of the colors, but that's a color thing. In terms of, this is a lot softer and a lot easier. I will say, take it easy when you're installing this. They have a possible, you can bend them to where once you bend them a little bit too much, if they don't sit up against the opening, it'll catch kind of the round catch, that the round, I guess what we call it, the, like, there's a piece in here that catches the round out of the magazine. It kind of loads it into the barrel. It'll catch that, so just be careful with that. And then just kind of sliding down. So from the trigger, we did this. What I did I thought I ordered and I forgot was the, it's like a better extractor that shoots the round out. I thought I had ordered one. I didn't. I have to get that. So that's coming up down the pipe. And then right from Ranger Precision, I ordered a smaller lever. Most people just buy the same color. I wanted it in black just because it looked a little different. So again, color-wise, and this is about medium. Something you should know. So I like the way this feels when I'm shooting better because my fingers kind of stay. They don't kind of slap around as much. But with these smaller ones, they're a little bit more difficult to do all like those fun turns and twists. So just prepare for that. If you're in it for fun, you might want to keep a bit of a bigger one, especially you can get your kind of fingers around and get those spins. It's a little harder with the smaller lever. And then I should make a suggestion here. When you do pick up the new lever, just know that you will be replacing this tiny little spring in here. It's kind of like one of those things where if you want to cut it just to make it a little bit softer, just be prepared. I cut one loop off of it and I had a little bit of a hard time getting it to stick in here. So I had to put a little spacer back in. Once I did that, it was nice and smooth and it sticks in nice. But if you cut too much of the spring holding this detent in here, it will not lock in here great. Like it'll get to the point where it'll be like, it'll kind of sit like this and you have to kind of push it in and then it'll fall. So you want to, I would just say leave this spring alone. Let this one be tight. Everything else is pretty loose. And then, so that's pretty much my Ranger Point Precision on the inside here. What I did also do is the hammer spring. I couldn't find it on Ranger Point. I don't know if they have one or not, but Brownels does sell a reduced weight hammer spring. So it just makes this cycling just like butter. There's like nothing here really stopping the cycling. So right now, the only spot where you have any type of restriction and any type of like a detent hitting is right here on top of the hammer. And if somebody out there lets me know, like, is it a good idea to just shave this down maybe like tiny little bit so that the bolt would slide straight past? And depending on where you shave it, if you watch it hit, it shouldn't affect the pin. But, you know, it's one of those things where I don't know enough about this to do that. So I'm just trying to find ways to make this as smooth as possible. And the only spot it's hitting right now is right there on the trigger. So something for all of you to consider. All right, so sliding forward, I think we got everything in here. Let's go into the sights real quick. So I used, and I went with the XSsights systems. I liked how long it is. Some people really like it going all the way over here, and you have spots for like a million different, you know, tactical crap that people like to put on their photos. My opinion, of course, I believe this is enough for, you know, my needs. I went with the ScalrWorks mount and the AimPoint Acro, the little mailbox up here. I like this combination. I like that because of the ScalrWorks mount, I can still use my iron sights if I need to, in case this ever stops working or I don't like it or it's fogged up too bad or whatever. I still have my iron sights to use without an issue. Kind of a major point for me there. And then just keep sliding forward here. This is the Chisel manufacturing handguard. I gotta say that I think it's so well machined. so well put together. It was an easy install. I didn't have any issues getting it in place, even lining up these set screws here on both sides. They were both like perfect. It's almost like they took my gun and made the handguard for my gun. That's how nice it lined up, and I didn't expect it to work that well. Definitely enjoy it. I like it. It's not very heavy. I will say that what I did do was add this right here. It's from a company called VZ Grips. It's kind of a proprietary material. I'm going to get you a close in here because what this does, it's just a very, very rough grip, which is what I like. Got them on both sides so that you can really get a positive feel for it. When you're sitting here, you can really, like, you can jam your finger into it, and I like that. I definitely like that a lot. They might have like some custom ones that you could buy longer ones, but just know with the Chisel machining handguard, you know, you're only going to have so many spots for all of your M-LOK type stuff. Okay, so at some point you're going to run out up here of not M-LOK. So just keep in mind, I know some of the other companies out there, they're like M-LOK the whole way out. So you can pretty much put stuff wherever you want. You are going to be limited on what you're going to put here. Doesn't bother me. You do have a bunch down the center here, along with some screw holes if you wanted to actually screw in like a sling mount. I have my sling mount here on the left-hand side, which could change. I could put it on the bottom. I like it on the left sometimes just because I want it to roll with my shooting, but we'll explain that on another day. If I decide to change it, I'll let you guys know. But continue to move forward here. Oh, before we go any further, I did want to say, for me to install this quiver here and use the VZ grips, like the grip here, I did have to shave off probably like 1/8 of an inch on the VZ grip. And how I did this was very simple. Just a piece of sandpaper, and I used the actual grip itself just to sand some down. So if you wanted to do this exactly like me with this exact setup, be prepared. You're going to shave down a little bit of that material to get this in nice and tight, which doesn't bother me at all. You know, some people out there like things to fit as they are, and in my experience, I rarely ever get anything to fit exactly like it is how I want it to. Same with the truck, same with all my cars. I always have to do something extra to make everything work the way I want. That's just me. I'm a bit of a pain in the ass. So I wanted to make sure you guys knew that, get out of the way. I love these things. I'm actually thinking about maybe picking up some for all my ARs and stuff. I love how rough they feel, which is just a big plus for me. And then I think kind of one of the most important things that you could add right now for me, let me move this here, was this muzzle brake. This muzzle brake is from Grizzly Gunworks. And I want to say that this is the DEFCON Light, but I could be wrong. It's either the DEFCON Light or the DEFCON Ghost. I will definitely, when I do my editing, I'll definitely let you know which one it is. So I do think that this just made the biggest difference for me. Is probably going to be the muzzle brake and the trigger. All right, so I'm about to rip off a shot here and match it up with the last one before we did our installs. So just really pay attention to the barrel. Those really stand out. So if that's all you want to do to make your gun like shoot better, be more enjoyable, a little bit more fun, I would just stick to those two. Because this, like, I watched a couple videos only, like real quick because I've been so busy before this and after this, and after the muzzle brake and whatever else I've done here, the rifle didn't pull up. It just kind of just went straight back, whereas before you could see the rifle shooting straight up hard, like, so the recoil is much less. When I went shooting yesterday, I could definitely tell. Felt more like a 300. Definitely, you know, extend the range time, which is just more fun and more stress down range. I shot a lot more rounds than I did the first time I took it out when it was stock. Probably closer to 65, 70 rounds. And my shoulder, I don't feel anything. So the last time we took this out, I shot about 40 and I had 3 days of soreness, and one of them got me in there really good. After this was installed, after the Grizzly Gunworks was installed, I feel nothing. So I definitely think that's worth it, and I think the trigger is worth it. Those would probably be the two biggest ones. Everything else you can kind of wait on if you want to. It doesn't have to look that great, but muzzle brake and trigger would be what I think is the best. If you have the little bit of extra, the hammer spring, the reduced weight hammer spring, I think is also pretty cool because it just kind of, it helps with locking this back. So it'll work if you can get the reduced spring, the reduced weight hammer spring, like those three together, I think would work really good. Something else that I didn't mention, I also got the magazine follower. Yeah, is it a magazine? Yeah. So I got the follower for the magazine. I put a little bit of oil on it when I put it through, so it runs nice and smooth. I would just say overall, the gun is just a lot smoother than it was stock. Like everything is just real soft, and the only place where I'm having that restriction is here. So I might work on that in the future, but I feel like I want to do some research just to make sure I don't screw anything up. So what else can I say about this? Like I'm impressed with how it shot, what it felt like, and just the overall difference versus stock. I think it's worth every penny, and I will have the breakdown of everything down below. Probably put a list together for you guys too. I had somebody on Reddit asking for a list of everything, so I want to get a list going so I can put it on there as well. And that way, if you guys just felt like you wanted to do the exact same thing, you have a list of exactly what I did and how it shot. I didn't have any issues after the mods with the shooting that day. I did have, I think maybe twice, where I didn't rack the lever far enough forward and it didn't like fully catch around. It got a little stuck, but it was nothing that, you know, tap rack bang didn't fix. So just know like that happened to me twice in like 60 rounds. And I think it was just me being too excited and not racking that lever. I wanted to give you guys an idea of the trigger pull, so you guys have it when it comes stock at around, I want to say it's high fives, low sixes. I neglected to measure this one. So just a Lyman standard trigger pull. Like I know we're clear here. I'm just going to, boom. So that was 2.9. I'm going to clear it. I don't like doing the averages. So as you can see, it's way lower than it is stock, so it feels really good. It's something to get used to too. You kind of got to learn that. So, but no complaints. I think in its current setup, it's just a more enjoyable gun to shoot, which more enjoyment equals more fun for me. I picked up a GatMonkey sling, so that's the sling I'm going to run on this one. Yo, check out GatMonkey. They just have a lot of fun with their stuff, and I think they're interesting and fun. It's kind of a departure along the lines of the usual super tactical shit, so I kind of dig that. It's a little bit more fun. And then also this new company that came out, I want to throw this up there. So these are the gloves that I have on when I tested it. It's a company called Gripit. They're really big in the like mountain bike community, but I felt like giving them a shot because I loved how thin they are. They also have an extra pad here in the thumb, which kind of helps out with your grip. And then also what I found pretty interesting, like no one I think in the gun community has done this yet. There's a rubber here that just helps you grip, right? And they put a little bit of rubber on this finger too, which helps you grip. So I found that super interesting. I like them. I like how thin they are. Again, they got fun colors that you can have fun with. Like I got this set and I got this set. So just something to look into. It's Gripit is the name brand. I normally, whenever I did want to use gloves, so whenever I wanted to use gloves in the past, I always thought Pig was the best. I still have my set. I still use them when I want to rock gloves. It's just something I'm going to work into the mix. I don't know how long they're going to last. So I don't know, you know, if they're going to take years of abuse, but I'm going to give them a shot and see how they go. It's just something a little bit different, a little bit more fun, because in all fairness, this is just a fun gun. So that's where I'm at there. I think that, so at least in my opinion, after all of this is done, I think it's a way better gun to shoot. I think it's worth every single penny, and it's just more fun. So guys, if you need anything from me, please let me know down below. I will be coming with the actual installs of everything. It's just going to take me some time, so I got a lot going on. Be safe out there. Thanks for watching.